Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive into Diwali. I have to say, just looking at all this source material, it's incredible how much there is to unpack.
Yeah, there really is a lot to this festival.
So much to explore, so much to learn. I mean, the colors, the lights, the food, even reading about it, it's a sensory feast.
It really is. And that's not an accident. Every single part of Diwali, from the smallest dia lamp to those amazing fireworks displays, it all symbolizes something much deeper.
Okay, so before we get totally lost in all the symbolism, let's start with the basics. What is Diwali exactly?
Well, Diwali is often called the Festival of Lights.
Yeah.
And you'll see exactly why that is in a minute. The name itself actually comes from a Sanskrit word, Deepavali, which means rose of lights.
Rows of lights. Wow, I can just imagine streets lined with growing lamps and homes all lit up from the inside.
Exactly. And those lights represent something so much bigger. They symbolize the triumph of good over evil knowledge, over ignorance, light over darkness. These are really universal themes.
I love that. Even though the actual legends and stories behind Diwali can be a little different depending on where you are, that core message of hope, it really shines through.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so fascinating. So, for example, in northern India, Diwali is really connected to the epic tale of Rama and Sita.
Oh, yeah. The story of their return from exile after Rama defeated the demon king Ravana, that image of the whole kingdom lighting lamps to guide them home, it's so powerful.
It is. Rama and Sita are seen as the ideal couple. They embody virtue and dharma, which is living a righteous life. So their story is a reminder that even after hardship and exile, goodness, it can prevail.
And then there's Nepal, where Diwali celebrates Lord Krishna's victory over the demon king Narakasura.
Yeah, Krishna, he's such an interesting figure, both playful and powerful. He's often shown defeating this demon, symbolizing that triumph of light over darkness that we were talking about.
It's so cool how the same festival can have these regional differences, each with their own unique stories and myths, but ultimately celebrating those same core themes.
And it shows just how rich and diverse these cultures are. And we can't forget about Bengal, where Diwali is linked to the goddess Kali.
Kali, now she's a bit more intense, right?
She is. Kali is a fierce warrior goddess. Sometimes she's depicted in a way that can be a little intimidating, but she represents destruction as a force for creation. It's a necessary part of that cosmic cycle. So in Bengal, Diwali is about overcoming the darkness and ignorance within ourselves.
Whoa. So it's not just about external battles, but also internal transformation.
That's it. Diwali works on many levels, and all those symbols come to life through the rituals and traditions of the festival.
Speaking of rituals, I noticed that most of the sources say Diwali isn't just one big celebration. It can last anywhere from 3 to 5 days.
That's right. And each day has its own special meaning leading up to the main Diwali night.
Okay, let's break down this 5-day extravaganza. What happens on day 1, Dhanteras?
Well, Dhanteras is all about getting ready, preparing your home and yourself for the festivities. People clean their homes really thoroughly. They decorate with flowers and colorful lights. And then they create these intricate rangoli patterns to welcome Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity.
Wait, hold on a second. What are rangoli patterns exactly? I keep seeing that term, but I'm not sure I'm picturing it right.
Imagine vibrant designs created on floors or courtyards using colored powders or rice flowers, even colored sand. They're like these breathtaking works of art. And traditionally, they're meant to entice Lakshmi to come and bless your home with her presence.
Ah, so it's like a magical welcome mat. But it's not just random pretty patterns, right?
Not at all. Everything in Rangoli has meaning. The vibrant colors represent joy and celebration. There are common motifs like the lotus flower, which symbolizes purity and spiritual awakening.
Okay, so every element has a deeper meaning. So after sprucing up our homes and making these amazing rangoli, what happens on day 2?
Day 2 is Naraka Chaturdashi. And this is where things get a little more personal. It's all about self-care and beautification. People go shopping for new clothes, they take these amazing fragrant oil baths, and they decorate themselves with henna designs.
Oh, henna. I love those temporary tattoos. They're so stunning.
They are. Henna is a centuries-old tradition, and the designs are supposed to enhance beauty and bring good luck.
It's like getting ready for a huge party, but you're also preparing yourself inwardly, creating a sense of renewal.
Exactly. And all this leads to the main event, Day 3, Diwali itself.
This is where things really get exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's not just one thing. It's a whole day filled with traditions and activities.
You got it. It's like the culmination of all that preparation.
Yeah.
Everyone gets dressed up in their new clothes. It's a visual expression of the new beginnings that Diwali represents. And then the most important ritual takes place, the Lakshmi Puja.
The puja, that's the prayer ceremony for Lakshmi, right? I read that people actually open their windows and doors during the puja.
They do. It's believed that by opening their homes, they're welcoming Lakshmi and inviting her to bless them with wealth and prosperity in the coming year.
It's like saying, Lakshmi, our home is your home. Come on in.
Exactly. And this is where those little DL lamps come in. You know, those clay lamps filled with oil and a wick?
Oh, yes, they light them all throughout the house, right?
Everywhere. Windowsills, doorways, balconies, they light up the whole house. And symbolically, they're guiding Lakshmi's path.
I can imagine how beautiful it must be, all those little lights twinkling against the night sky.
It's breathtaking. And it's not just about the beauty. The dayas represent that victory of light over darkness that we've been talking about, literally and metaphorically.
So illuminating our own paths as well, dispelling the ignorance and negativity within us.
That's it. It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest flame can overcome the deepest darkness.
Okay, so we've got the Lakshmi Puja, the dayas, guiding her way new clothes to symbolize a fresh start. But it doesn't end there, does it?
Not even close. After the puja, it's feast time. Families and friends get together to share these incredible meals, exchange gifts, and celebrate together.
And of course, no Diwali celebration would be complete without fireworks.
True. And the fireworks aren't just for show. They're supposed to ward off those evil spirits, making way for Lakshmi's arrival and letting all that positive energy flow freely.
So to recap, on day 3, we've got the Lakshmi Puja, the lights guiding her way, amazing food gifts, and tons of dazzling fireworks. Wow. I'm tired just thinking about it. But wait, there are 2 more days of Diwali.
That's right. The party keeps going, though. The focus shifts a bit in these last couple days.
Okay, what happens on day 4, Padwa?
Padwa is all about strengthening those important bonds, especially between married couples. Think of it like an anniversary celebration. They exchange gifts, often things made of gold, as a symbol of their love and commitment.
So after the big community celebration, it's time to focus on the people closest to you.
Exactly. It's a reminder that strong relationships are the foundation for happiness and prosperity.
And finally, day 5, Haiduj. This one sounds so heartwarming.
It is. Pai Duj is a day that celebrates this special bond between brothers and sisters. Sisters do this ritual for their brothers' well-being and long life, and in return, brothers shower their sisters with gifts and affection.
It's really beautiful how Diwali includes all these different kinds of relationships. From the divine to family, there's this feeling of unity throughout the whole celebration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a time for celebrating the victory of light over darkness, but also the light that's inside each of us and the connections that bring us all together.
Well, we've covered so much already. We've learned about Diwali's origins, the different meanings, and all those important traditions that make this festival so special over these 5 days. It's amazing how much symbolism and meaning is packed into every single part of this festival. But, there are a few things I'm still curious about.
Let's dive in. What caught your attention?
Well, for one thing, the cows. I know they're sacred in Hinduism, but it seems like they have a special role during Diwali, too.
You're right. Cows are really revered in Hinduism. They're often seen as a symbol of Mother Earth providing sustenance. They represent gentleness and abundance.
Okay, but how does that connect to Diwali specifically?
Well, one belief is that Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity that we keep talking about, she actually lives in every cow.
Really?
Yes. So during Diwali, cows are often decorated with garlands. They're given extra care and respect. It's all a way of honoring Lakshmi.
That's so fascinating. So it's like this double layer of symbolism, honoring Lakshmi and the cow itself. It makes you think about that saying, cash cow in a whole new light.
It's a beautiful example of how everything is connected to that divine presence in something that might seem ordinary.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of symbolism, something else that really stood out to me were the Diya lamps. We talked about them guiding Lakshmi, but there's got to be more to it, right?
There is. The Diya lamps are packed with symbolism. They go beyond just guiding Lakshmi. They represent that victory of light over darkness that we talked about, both literally and metaphorically. So it's about illuminating our own paths, dispelling the ignorance and negativity within us.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, a single flame, however small, can bring light and hope.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've learned about the history and traditions of Diwali, its different meanings, and all the symbolism woven into the celebration. But I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, there's always more to discover.
Yeah.
That's what makes Diwali so fascinating. It's a festival that encourages you to think, reflect, and remember the power of light both within us and in the world around us.
I think this is a good place to pause for part 1 of our Diwali deep dive. Join us in part 2, where we'll explore some of the deeper philosophical and spiritual themes behind this amazing festival. Welcome back to our deep dive into Diwali. It's been amazing so far.
It has. We've gone from the origins and all that symbolism to the rituals, the philosophy, the personal reflections.
So much to uncover. And now I'm really excited to go even deeper.
Me too. Now that we've got a good grasp of the basics, let's shift gears a bit and explore some of the deeper philosophical and spiritual themes at the heart of this festival.
Because as we've seen, it's about so much more than just lights and delicious food. There's a profound message behind everything.
Exactly. At its core, Diwali is a celebration of hope renewal and that victory of good over evil. But those aren't just abstract concepts. They have real meaning for how we actually live our lives.
I like that. So how does Diwali connect to our everyday lives?
Well, think about that powerful symbol of light over darkness. It's not just about lighting lamps. It's about creating that inner light, getting rid of the ignorance and negativity inside us.
So it's like an internal spring cleaning.
Yeah,
Getting rid of the bad vibes and making space for positivity.
that's it. Diwali reminds us that we have the power to choose light over darkness inside ourselves and out in the world. It's a call to action to be more compassionate, more understanding, and to do good in the world.
That makes me think of the story of Rama and Sita coming home from exile after defeating Ravana. All those people lighting lamps to welcome them home. It feels like it's about everyone coming together to overcome the darkness.
That's a great way to look at it. It reminds us that we're not alone in this journey of choosing light. We've got our communities, our families, even strangers who share our values.
And it's not just about celebrating that victory, it's about being a part of it, both in our own lives and in the world. Which brings me to something else about Diwali that really hit me, that emphasis on new beginnings.
The cleaning the new clothes, that whole feeling of renewal.
Yeah,
It's like a reset button for life.
exactly. I love that idea that no matter what we've been through, we always get a fresh start to learn from our experiences and make positive changes.
Exactly. Diwali invites us to look at our own lives to see where we might be holding on to darkness and then make a conscious choice to move towards the light.
The role of rituals in all this is really intriguing. We talked about the Lakshmi Puja, the Rangoli, the diyas. How do those traditions connect to the deeper meaning of Diwali?
Rituals are powerful. They give us a framework for being intentional, for focusing our minds and hearts on the things we want to embody.
So it's not just going through the motions. It's about doing those actions with meaning behind them.
Exactly. Take the Lakshmi Puja, for example. It's not just asking for material wealth. It's about inviting abundance into our lives.
Yeah.
Love, health, happiness, spiritual growth, all of it.
And even cleaning and decorating our homes, creating those Rangoli patterns, it's more than just making things look pretty, isn't it?
It is. It's about making a space where positive energy can flow, a space that shows what we want for a brighter, more beautiful life.
It's like saying, hey, I'm ready for good things to come into my life on all those levels.
Exactly. It's that intentionality that matters. By actually doing these rituals, we're not just watching a tradition happen, we're actively shaping our own reality.
And speaking of shaping realities, something else about Diwali that fascinates me is all the sharing, the gifts, the feasts, the time with family and friends. It feels like generosity is built into this festival.
Absolutely. Sharing is a huge part of Diwali. It's about acknowledging how connected we are and showing gratitude for the abundance in our lives, both big and small.
And it's not just about material things, right? It's also sharing our time, our love, our support with everyone.
You got it. The gifts we exchange during Diwali, they symbolize something much bigger. It's about strengthening those bonds and creating a sense of community.
All this talk about new beginnings and embracing the unknown. It makes me think about something I saw a lot in our research gambling. It seems a little out of place for such a spiritual festival.
That's an interesting point. It does seem a little unexpected at first, but gambling during Diwali actually connects to some interesting cultural and philosophical beliefs.
Really? Why is gambling part of Diwali?
One explanation comes from the story of Parvati and Shiva, that important divine couple in Hinduism. The legend says that on Diwali night, Parvati played dice with Shiva, and she declared that anyone who gambled on that night would be prosperous throughout the year.
So it's like a good luck thing, a way to bring in prosperity. But it's not just about winning money, right?
Right. It goes beyond that material wealth. It's about taking risks, embracing uncertainty, and trusting in fate.
That's an interesting way to think about it. So it's less about the winning or losing and more about the act of gambling itself. Stepping outside our comfort zone and embracing the unknown.
That's it. It's a reminder that life itself is kind of a gamble, and sometimes we have to take risks to reach our goals and really grow.
But of course, like with anything, we have to be responsible about it, right?
Definitely. Gambling, like any kind of fun, should be done in moderation and with a good dose of perspective.
This deep dive is full of surprises. I never would have thought gambling could have such a symbolic meaning in Diwali.
It just goes to show you, there's always something new to learn, even about traditions that we think we know. Diwali has all these layers, and each one reveals something new about our culture, spirituality, and that search for meaning.
We've covered so much in part 2 of our Diwali deep dive. We've explored those deeper meanings behind the festival, the symbolism of light, how important renewal is, and even that surprising role of gambling. But Diwali's influence goes way beyond these personal and spiritual ideas.
Absolutely. Diwali is a global thing now, celebrated by millions all over the world. And its message of hope and unity is more relevant than ever.
I can't wait to explore that global impact in part 3. Welcome back to our Diwali deep dive. It feels like we've been on this incredible journey exploring this amazing festival.
We have, from the very beginning to the symbolism, to the rituals, the philosophy, even personal reflections.
Yeah, and now it's time to broaden our perspective a little bit and look at Diwali's impact on a global scale, because this isn't just something celebrated within India anymore, right?
No, not at all. Diwali has really become a worldwide phenomenon.
I've even noticed that right here in host speaker's location, there are Diwali celebrations. It seems like every year it gets bigger and bigger all over the world. What do you think is driving this global spread?
Well, the Indian diaspora has had a big influence. As people have moved to different parts of the world, they've brought their traditions and cultural celebrations with them.
It's a way to hold on to that cultural identity and connection even when they're in a new place. It's pretty amazing, really, bringing that light with them everywhere they go.
It is. It's a way for them to share their heritage and traditions with their new communities and to keep those connections alive across continents.
But it's not just people from India, right? I've seen people from all sorts of backgrounds taking part in Diwali celebrations, drawn to that energy and that universal message.
That's so true. The appeal of Diwali's message is definitely a big part of why it's spread worldwide. The idea of light over darkness, good over evil, hope over despair. Those things speak to people from all walks of life, no matter what their background or beliefs are.
It makes sense. In a world that can feel so divided and uncertain, Diwali offers a message of unity and hope that goes beyond just culture and religion.
Exactly. It's about remembering that we're all human and that we share the same hopes for a better world. A world with more light, compassion, and understanding. And let's be honest, it's a stunning and joyful festival. Who doesn't love fireworks, food, and good food and celebrations?
Right. It's a feast for the senses. There's something so captivating about those twinkling diyas, the colorful rangoli, and just seeing everyone come together to celebrate.
It's truly an immersive experience. So speaking of adapting and evolving, I'm curious, how is this ancient festival changing in today's world? Are the traditions changing as Diwali spreads?
That's a great question. Traditions always evolve, but the core values of Diwali are still really strong. What I find interesting is how people are finding new ways to honor those values that also address modern concerns.
I agree. Like with all the environmental concerns, we're seeing people having eco-friendly Diwali celebrations.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What are some of the things people are doing?
Well, instead of those traditional firecrackers, which can cause air pollution, people are using quieter, less polluting options. Some are even going for digital fireworks displays. You still get that visual spectacle, but without the negative impact on the environment.
It's amazing how people are finding ways to celebrate responsibly without giving up their values. It's a good reminder that traditions can evolve and adapt without losing their heart.
Exactly. And it's not just about the environment. We're also seeing people bring modern elements into their Diwali decorations and celebrations. It's like blending old traditions with new ways of expressing them.
It's like this beautiful tapestry woven with threads of the past, present, and future. It really shows how powerful this festival is, its ability to adapt and connect with people across different generations and cultures.
This deep dive has been so insightful for me. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of Diwali. It's not just a cultural event, it's a philosophy, a celebration of humanity and a symbol of hope in a world that can sometimes feel pretty dark.
I couldn't agree more. It's been an honor to explore this festival with you and with all our listeners.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all this?
As you go about your lives, remember what Diwali is all about. Embrace the light within yourself. Choose to be kind and compassionate to others, and remember you have the power to make the changes you want to see in the world. Happy Diwali, everyone.
Well said. May your lives be filled with light, joy, and abundance.
And thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that light burning bright.